Hey brother! Ben, last month the latest addition to the wizarding world of Harry Potter hit the shelves in the form of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And while it was odd reading the script to a play, I have to say it was just nice spending time with these characters again, and I personally really liked it. But it did leave me with a few questions, like, what are Mr. and Mrs. Weasley up to? Only 2 appearances by Hagrid, and both in like flashback/dream sequences? Where is he? And this was just a small one, but who is the Cursed Child? Now you might be sitting there saying, wow, are you stupid? I thought it was pretty obvious. And personally, I was afraid I was just being stupid too. Wouldn't be the first time. So I put the question on Twitter and got an interesting response. While many of you were quite certain about who the Cursed Child was, many of you were quite certain that it was different characters. So who is it? Well, allow me to walk you through my personal research on the matter, and fair warning, massive spoilers as soon as the very next sentence in this video. So if you haven't read it yet and you don't want anything spoiled, you've been warned. As the title suggests, it must be a child, of which there are no shortage in this book, since almost all of the main characters have had children. This leaves us with a wide selection, including James, Albus, Lily, Hugo, Rose, Scorpius, and Delphi. Or Delphi? Delphi? And right out of the gate, I think we can immediately eliminate James, Lily, Hugo, and Rose, as they are practically non-existent in this story. In fact, Rose and Hugo even literally become non-existent at one point. And honestly, until I reread it like the second time yesterday, I forgot Hugo was even a character. I think he's only referenced like twice, and he doesn't have any lines, poor guy. But fittingly, that does leave us with our 3 main characters, Albus, Scorpius, and Delphi. And let's start with Scorpius, because I think he is the least likely of the 3. Sure, his dad's a Death Eater, and his crush doesn't like him, and his mother does die, and I guess his only friend is like the other least popular guy at school, and I guess there's that whole rumor about him being the son of Lord Voldemort. So yeah, maybe he's not leading the most charmed life, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's cursed, because all that stuff is still just circumstantial. Plus, he's like the most positive character, and he's super smart and hilarious, and he like saves the entire wizarding world. I mean, was anyone's favorite character not Scorpius? Let's be honest. Slytherin for the win. But to be fair, there are at least a few lines in the book that do suggest that it could be Scorpius who is the Cursed Child. Like when Draco tells Harry that he's a constant curse on his family, or when Draco tells about how his wife, Astoria, died, revealing that an ancestor of hers had been cursed, and how those things can pop up every few generations. But neither of these lines are particularly damning for Scorpius. The first, about Harry, is more of an insult than an actual magical curse, and the second one, about a cursed ancestor, isn't even about Scorpius, it's about Astoria, and said curse isn't really relevant to the plot. So that leaves our candidates at Albus, the son of Harry Potter, or Delphi, the daughter of Voldemort. Or is she? That is a video for another day. And believe me, this was frustrating. The answer goes back and forth. No matter what angle I approached this question at, I always got answers that pointed to both characters. First, I considered the title, The Cursed Child, and compared it to other Harry Potter titles. The only other 2 that make references to characters in the book are Prisoner of Azkaban and The Half-Blood Prince. And in both cases, the character in question, Sirius or Snape, are introduced to us as bad guys, but are later revealed to be good guys. The same reversal happens to both Albus and Delphi. Albus is introduced to us as a somewhat troublesome child, well, at least for Harry, who dislikes his father, isolates himself from other students, and at one point successfully resurrects Voldemort in an alternate reality. Accidental, but yeah, still hard to forgive. Thank goodness Scorpius was there. Man, that guy's awesome. But of course, by the end of the story, Albus has learned from his adventures and mended all wrongs, and has become the good Potter boy we want him to be. Delphi is the opposite. She's introduced to us as this cool, Tonks-esque adventure type, up for anything, and a helpful, if not somewhat random, friend for Albus and Scorpius. But then of course by the end of the story it's revealed that she is the daughter of Voldemort and a total psycho Jenga. Trust no Jenga. Next, I considered the artwork on the book, because Who is this? The child isn't obviously male or female, so no help there, and they're sitting in a nest with dark wings, which sort of altogether resembles a snitch, which is kind of odd because Quidditch isn't really a part of this book. The black wings, I'm assuming, are what Delphi's tattoo of the augury looks like on the back of her neck. An augury, if you don't know, is a black and green bird whose cry wizards used to think was a death omen, but actually it just predicts when it's about to rain. Delphi does call herself the augury, and baby birds do live in nests, so maybe this is supposed to represent her as a parentless child before she grows up to have metaphorical black wings? Maybe, but then Delphi is never really portrayed as being this young at any point in the story. And if Delphi is supposed to represent the augury, maybe this is supposed to represent Albus, who looks up to Delphi in the book, like a baby bird would look up to its mother from its nest. Sure, the nest looks safe, but it's not, and in that case, the black wings could represent Delphi's true intentions. Plus, if it is Albus, then the whole dark snitch imagery makes more sense, because Albus is the darker of the Potter children, and the snitch is commonly used to represent Harry. Yeah, really no help on the cover, but what about the story itself? Let's start with Albus. First, he's unusually sorted into Slytherin. Good on ya, mate. His eyes are darker by the third year. Draco compares him to Tom Riddle. His father wishes he weren't his son, and every time he appears in one of Harry's dreams, once even as Lord Voldemort, Harry wakes up and his scar hurts. But the real big one is the one Bane tells Harry in the Forbidden Forest, that his son Albus has a black cloud around him. Then there's Delphi. Grew up as an orphan, never had a friend, never went to school. She can speak to snakes. After her first appearance is when Harry starts having bad dreams, and oh yeah, she's the daughter of Lord Voldemort. So yeah, much like Scorpius, neither of them is leading a particularly charmed life. But also like Scorpius, most of their misfortune is just circumstantial. There's nothing particularly magical or cursed about it, other than the one line that Albus has a black cloud around him, which makes it seem like Albus would be the cursed child. But Harry correctly deduces that the black cloud is someone and not something, which was smart, but then he incorrectly deduces that that someone was Scorpius, to which I say, how dare you, Potter? We later learn that Delphi is the black cloud, which again presents us with a problem. Is Albus the cursed child because he has the black cloud around him? Or is Delphi the black cloud because she is the curse itself? Once again, they apparently cancel each other out. But here's the thing, either way, even if one of those seems more likely to you, what curse is supposed to have befallen these people? They all just have unfortunate lives. There's nothing magical about it, and I have to think that the cursed in the title is referring to magic and not just regular misfortune. And it's at this point I started getting desperate. Like, what am I missing here? This has got to be obvious. It's the title of the book. Is it Cedric? Could he be this cursed child? No matter how history rewrites itself, it seems like things go poorly for him. I mean, Death Eater who kills Neville. That seems kind of cursed. Plus, he's the one who's humiliated and having spells cast at him throughout the entire book. But no, that doesn't make sense with the title. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Harry doesn't even come into contact with Cedric in this book. And then it hit me. There actually is a child who is hit with the curse in this story. A curse that lasts until the end of this story. A curse cast in a scene that didn't even seem like it needed to be included. The scene where Voldemort arrives in Godric's Hollow and curses baby Harry Potter. Harry Potter is the cursed child. The moment that he's cursed is what the entire story is leading up to. Personally, I didn't even understand why they included that scene. I mean, the day was won. Why stick around to watch your parents die? But it's because that's what the book is about. How things had to happen the way they happen. Every time in this story when they try and tamper with history, everything goes horribly wrong. Over and over and over. So even though it sucks, even though they were there, they had to ensure that Harry Potter became the cursed child. And it fits everywhere else too. I mean, Delphi isn't the black cloud around Albus, Harry is the black cloud around Albus. He told Albus he wished he wasn't his son. Don't you think if your parent told you that, you might have a bit of a black cloud swimming around you? And Harry is the one who's having bad dreams. Harry is the one who can speak Parseltongue again. Harry is the one whose scar is hurting. All these things are remnants of the curse from Voldemort when he was a baby. And they even explain how it was possible that Harry was able to continue feeling and doing all these things. Harry tells Albus that 22 years ago he thought he had lost Voldemort, but that he had only lost him physically, not mentally. And as such, the curse held until this adventure with his son, when Harry was finally able to mentally let go of Lord Voldemort. And my question for you and everybody else is, who was your favorite character in The Cursed Child, and who did you think was the Cursed Child until you met my rock-solid, impenetrable theory that it's Harry? I would love to hear your thoughts in the towel section down below.
These socks are amazing!
Guys, thanks for watching. As always, please like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe so you don't miss any future Harry Potter content. If you want to find out how Dumbledore made his own Horcrux, I recommend you check out this video. And if you want to see us rank Voldemort's Horcruxes and why he should probably still be around, you can check out Ben's video from last week right here. But Ben, that's it for me. I'll see you in another life, brother.